Thank you for staying with us today. I know it's a long day and it's a lot of time out of your day, but I hope that you can see the value that CompTIA brings really here to Auckland, because that's where my heart lies, obviously, in New Zealand. But I wanted to sort of introduce you to another element of the work that CompTIA does worldwide. So, unbeknownst to many of you, they give away $150,000 a year to grants to organisations that are helping with tech development in the countries in which they operate. So we're very fortunate that last year the winners of the New Zealand grant are here with us today, and they used the grant that we gave them, $10,000, to upgrade some technology and to continue to provide some services in Aotearoa. And I'd just like to start off by introducing you to some of that work.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Accelerating Aotearoa, we're like the go-to spot for community support right in the heart of South Auckland, Aotearoa. We've been around for more than 20 years now, and we're all about helping our local whānau with a bunch of really exciting initiatives. So what do we do? Well, we're like an omni-channel, working across both channels, digital and physical platforms. We're tech savvy. We've got an IT hub, a podcast studio, and this awesome group, the 274 creators that make videos. Just like this one. We're big on helping our community grow through mentoring. For those that need a hand with the basics, we've got food parcels and clothes for all the family. Access to government services and legal aid, we help with that too. Locals can drop by our centre or use the My River app, whatever works best.
It sound right, boy.
During school holidays, we run a STEM program for the kids. Fun and learning all rolled into one. We even won the AI category for Australia and New Zealand in the Imagine Cup. Now, here's the thing. We are running on passion. Money is always tight. We've got amazing volunteers and locals that pitch in with their time and skills. When we get grants like the one from CompTIA, it's a big deal. It means that we can pay our volunteers and get the stuff that we need for our youth programs and other community initiatives. Every contribution directly benefits this vibrant Aotearoa community, reinforcing the brilliance of this diamond in South Auckland's crown.
So it almost brings me to tears. I've been working with them for a year, but come on up, Judy, Daniel and Daniel. Just to introduce you to each of these amazing people that are doing so much out there. Firstly, Judy is the CEO of Accelerating Aotearoa. She's been working in the tech sector for 20 odd years and has since started up Accelerating Aotearoa to change the community within which she works. I'm going to let you hold that one. This is the incredible Danielle. When I popped out there to visit them to talk about the grant, she said, how about you come and do a podcast with Danielle? So she's a podcast extraordinaire, a graduate of the program. I've got my own mic on. Yeah. And this is Daniel. He's a content producer extraordinaire, Photoshop, video, you name it. Volunteers all of his time out there to make sure that the kids of Aotearoa get some exceptionally good skills, and it's a wonder and a privilege to have them here today. So, Judy, we want you to tell your brief journey as to how you got out of tech and how you got into Accelerating Aotearoa.
A bit like out of jail, huh? Well, those of you that are still in the tech industry, for me, I had this great revelation that, actually, I don't know, elite club memberships and hotels, beautiful hotel rooms that I was in my own on, and were actually not what I really wanted. And I fortunately found love in middle life, and then we had a baby, and my husband and I said, well, actually, I think we don't want to be doing this. I remember I was in Russia one day, and he was coming back from Singapore, and then he got some shocking tummy thing, and then he was dying, and we had no one to look after our daughter, and it was like, oh, okay. So we had a big talk. Is that sound okay?
Yeah.
We had a big talk and said, well, what are we going to do for the rest of our lives? What are we going to do to celebrate the fact that we're in the world? And the long and the short of it is that we ended up at Aotearoa. We decided we wanted to make a difference where people needed us, really. I think the world is sometimes very lonely and very self-interested and very carnivorous. And I wanted more than that in my life, really. So, and I guess the other thing was, I've been working with APEC. I think I did 13 missions then. The APEC Towers in one, a veteran of that. I would have run when you see it coming, but it's quite fun. And everyone's talking about, the Canadians talking about the First Nations and their amazing tech, and we're with the Peruvians, and they've just done this huge cable-based network, just using the TV infrastructure to create broadband for people. And then I think the Philippines had this really amazing e-commerce functionality around, with peasants working in villages where they had nothing but a mobile phone. And I came back, looked at Aotearoa, New Zealand, and there was nothing. So what were we doing about, we were hearing this morning about the tech is a great equaliser. Well, tech wasn't on the agenda for communities, and I was increasingly frustrated about that too. So I did think that our initial mission was going to be all about tech and communities, and we just bring a few laptops out to the community and that'll be it. And then we found out there was a whole lot more, because tech's just a piece of the puzzle. And those of us who study sociology know that actually, what's most important is some food and somewhere to live. So we did housing, and we do today food. We're feeding something like 1,000 people a month, 1,000 people a week, so 4,000 a month-ish, with all food rescue. It's an amazing thing. We all work in it. There's nice video shots of things with them. But it's all working there together because it's a volunteer-based thing. And we have an amazing clothing rescue process that's all supported by Warwick and his whānau. That Warwick even did the ultimate hustle and got us free ferry delivery back into Auckland. And that we are supported by an AI platform that runs our call centre, so the data that we need to record what happens. So I'm intrigued that what was the number, 67% of New Zealand companies don't have AI platforms. Bloody hell, guys, catch up. So our call centre is AI driven. Well, it will be in a couple of weeks when we've got the software finished, but we've had the launch in true corporate style. And I'm really proud that we've got a highly functioning tech to support the work that we do. It makes a big difference. Is that enough of an intro?
It is. I wanted to touch on that note that Brett said at the beginning about how do we actually all work together to change New Zealand's future, and he ran a few of those things. We're 15,000 tech jobs short in New Zealand, and you're all just trying to pinch the best people from everybody else in the room, and not really enough grassroots application going to that. So
yeah, let's just grow our own. Really
grow our own. So in the Aotearoa community, it's often considered an underprivileged area, not the same opportunities that we all get, and Judy and her team are making that possible. And without that, I don't think we have all the STEM programs that are working. So please get behind them. They're a charity. They need help. You can do something there. In terms of the other thing I wanted to note, just last week Judy was inducted into the Tuan's Hall of Fame for her contribution to tech in New Zealand. So.
And could I just tell you, it was actually the 7 years I served as chairman.
Well, that helps.
For my soul, that's why I'm empathising with Rose.
But thank you so much. Without what you do, none of the things that we saw in the video could happen. And it's a joy to work alongside you. But you've got some great people, and obviously Daniel is. We're going to go to Daniel next. So Daniel is a content producer, as I mentioned earlier. Tech skills are not easy to get without someone to show you the way. And I think the one thing I noted when I was out there being interviewed very spontaneously is that the technical skills of all of the children were so much more advanced by having access to a podcast studio. If you go to the Accelerating Aotearoa website, it's just content. It's good enough to share. And Daniel, tell us a little bit about how you ended up there and what you bring to the equation.
Okay. I'm kind of the imposter here because Judy's been serving the community for the last 20 years. Danielle has lived in Aotearoa all her life, I think. And I'm basically a casual visitor and have been for the last year. I was in the, I wouldn't say the corporate world, but I ran a post-production facility in Newmarket, and I kind of had enough of that, and I went on a contract basis. But the good thing is I had a little bit more free time, and I wanted to give back to the community. Now I live in the North Shore, which is a far cry from Aotearoa, But I just happened to know someone that worked there, and I followed him one day. I met Judy. I saw how she pours her heart out to the community, and I said, "Oh, well, where can I help?" kind of thing. So at first, I just dropped in. I think maybe once a week, half a day, and I clean, sort of clothes and things like that. Before I started, helping with my skill set. So I'm a video editor by trade, and I know the technology around content creation. And they already had a podcast studio, so they were making content. And I was there to help facilitate upskilling the people so they can be self-sufficient in making their own content. And this is really the power of accelerating Aotearoa. Danielle, for one, has embraced it. She's been behind the camera. She's always been in front of the camera. And she's not the only one. These are people that, it's an alien world. But all of a sudden, they're tech savvy and they can host a podcast. They're not afraid to be in front of the camera, tell their story, share their experience, and even better, take that knowledge and share it on. So I'm not planning to be the one that is relied upon. Once these guys are up and running, they're going to, have their own kind of work and content to create. But yeah, I love it, and it's a privilege, and it opened my eyes, and I'm learning a heck of a lot.
That's great. Thank you so much, and thank you for the work you do there. I know how difficult it is to get all the tech working all the time and the way that you do it, and that it's been a great experience for me too. So, Danielle, our last speaker for the day, but I just wanted to talk about some of the community initiatives that Accelerating Aotearoa are doing. So, the assumption is that without children being fed and clothed, they can't learn. If they're having difficulties at school, they can't learn. If they've got family problems at home, they can't learn. Danielle's a graduate of the program, a graduate of the community out there, and I just wanted to tell you a few things about what it meant for her to go through it.
Okay, so I'm the last. We always save the best for last, and nice to meet you all, Danielle Tua.
Thank you, that was just what I thought I would
So for me, I started in Accelerating Aotearoa. We'll start from the beginning. So I grew up mum and dad passed really young. I grew up an angry teenager. I didn't want to know anyone, and I didn't want anyone to know me. Very sheltered from real life. I thought I knew everything, as teenagers do. Got older, had children, and then I knew I had to change my ways. So I was looking for volunteer work, which is not easy to find in New Zealand. I went to libraries, I went to CABs, it's community advice bureaus. I was trying anything so trouble couldn't find me because trouble would follow anywhere I went. So I got work with Māori wardens, for those of you who don't know who they are, they're warden groups that go around minimising alcohol intake within our people of New Zealand, and our people covers all ranges. Everybody that enters New Zealand is our people. So it was minimising those stores and the intake that was happening on our people. So I enjoyed that. I was like, oh, cool. And because my family grew up alcoholics and all of this stuff, listening to reggae music and stuff. So I enjoyed that path. Eventually I bumped into Judy and her team down at Aotearoa. We're all a tight-knit community. And I seen what they were doing there. I started working riparian planting, which is where I was starting to get paid work. Another thing that I enjoy, the environment, trying to not save the world, but help prevent what's going on. From then, I lost a brother. My path went a little bit sideways, but I've come back now and I've just placed my foot. They say, you want to do some work here, you want to do some work here, which I know I can do. But I want to save my time to help people because of the help that I received, and I want to do the same thing. But while I'm there, I'm upskilling. I'm learning podcasts, as Danny mentioned earlier. Jumping behind the camera was easier than jumping in front of the camera, and a lot easier than standing in front of all of you here today. So if you do want to see our podcast, which I did run one with Warwick, which I got about 5 minutes to prepare.
Sergeant Warwick.
Yeah, you're okay.
Wasn't that impromptu?
But if you watch it, it's really good. You'll think I was born to be a podcaster.
It's awesome. I've seen it.
So yeah, have a look at our Facebook page, YouTube channel, Accelerating Aotearoa it's called. And you can see some of the work that some of us are doing. You'll see the change from how I started to how I am now. A little bit more confident. But I am hoping to come around and interview a few of you today, so then you can share with our community the stories that you guys have grown up with and the work that you do, so that we know all about this new tech savvy stuff that's going on out here in the corporate world.
That's great. Thank you, Danielle. It's really, heartwarming to sort of do this work. You get so caught up in your day-to-day work life that we all do. Everybody, apart from the people at the back, volunteers for CompTIA. We don't do this because we have to. It's about building a community, leveraging all the amazing resources we know are available to you, and ultimately in this segment showing how they give back to helping communities around the world. And this is just one of many, many examples of what the work has done and what the grants have done. And I really look forward to carrying on and seeing what we do next out there. So a little story was that my wife is a volunteer at Whisker on Waiheke. It's the RSPCA shop over there. Lots of beautiful clothes just gets thrown out because they're not in a good state. We managed to get a thing going with Sealing, so we ship 15-litre rubbish bags to Accelerating Aotearoa every week, and they get recirculated. And just as our industry is circular, so is the help and the giving that they do over there. And that's how we give back, right? It makes you live longer if you give back.
We're the best town in South Aotearoa, really.
We're only got a very short slot today, so is there any questions anyone would like to ask my guests? Yeah, Chris.
What did you use the donation for?
We used it to pay our volunteers because, as you can see, we run on volunteers, and without that money, we had nothing to give them. So a little bit here and a little bit there, but it makes them feel appreciated. And it also means that we've got a bit of commitment to the operational base.
If you looked closely, you might have seen that there were 30 laptops out there that are like Windows XP, probably not like Windows 10. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have got extra gear, you've got any tech services or skills, by all means, we'd love to get it rotated out there. But yeah, without these grants, Judy is basically a professional grant applicator. You have to be, you're scrambling around trying to get everything you can. So to even contribute to the operations for this year and to see the amazing output they do with the tech they've got, is astounding. I just can't imagine what you could do if you had all of that gear. So let's work on that. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you all.
Okay.